All right. So good evening, everyone. I hope all of you are enjoying your Sunday. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
So ideally on Sunday, having such classes is really boring, but we don't have any choice. We have limited time. So within a month, we need to finish this entire thing. So yeah, but yes, on Sunday we will try to, finish our class within 2 hours because in a week uh, there is a 20 hours of total timing, right? So from Monday to Saturday, every day 3 hours, close to 3 hours, and in Sunday, 2 hours is enough, right? All right. So let's start. I hope my screen is visible to everyone, right? Can anyone please confirm?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. So in our last session, we were discussing about JavaScript array, right? So let's start from there only. Let me open my VS Code. Okay. So. Okay, perfect. So last day, in fact, in the last, maybe the last program it was, uh, we were trying to understand uh, the concept of copy, right? The concept of copy in array, right? So what we found from our program, this is the code. Yeah. So this is a case like we have an array and this is a single dimensional array, right? So in a single dimensional array, when we are using these three dots to copy, right? Then the new variable, the new array is starting to point a new address, separate memory location, right? Now let's see about two-dimensional or multi-dimensional array, or maybe we can say it nested array. So let's create a new file. Let me call it uh, nested underscore array dot js. Right. So here let's create an array. Say we can we should create a function first. Function anything, let's say xyz. Right. Now inside this function, let's create a variable ar1 equals to, and inside this array, we will create two internals array. Right. This is nested array, and let's write anything. Say 2, 4, 6, and say here 11, 15, and 20. Any random numbers, right? Okay. This is my array. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write let ar2, which is a new variable, and I'm going to copy this ar1 in it. So we know from our last program that if we will copy like this, then it's a shallow copy. Means both the variables ar1 and ar2 will point to same memory location. So yesterday what we did, we enclose this variable in this square bracket and use this three dots rest operator or spread operator here, right? So so now let's do some change. Let's say either in ar1 or ar2, say 0th index and 0 index. So 0 0 means this thing, this 2. Here instead of 2 I am updating it with 200, right? And now let's print console.log ar1 and console.log ar2, right? So let's see what we are getting from it. So let me close another files. we need to call this function xyz, right? uh, Come to console and here cls, and then we will write node and the file name, which is nested array.js. So okay, so what we are seeing here, this is little interesting. Why? Because here we use this spread operator, these three dots, to copy. But if we will see the output again, we can see that okay, in case of AR1 and AR2, in both case 200, I mean in the 00 index the value is 200. What it means? It means that in case of nested array, right, this thing doesn't work as a deep copy. It is copying the array as shallow. In case of single dimensional array, it is making a deep copy. But in case of nested array, it is not making a deep copy. It is making a shallow copy. Now, so how we can take care of this thing? For that, what we can do, let's comment this line and let's write here, let AR2 equals to, here we have to use some, inbuilt things of JavaScript. There is a thing called stringify, right? So first we need to convert our array in string, right? So we will write JSON dot stringify, and here we need to pass our array AR1, right? Now, so what this will do? This this particular line will convert our AR1 into a string, means from object to string. Now we need to create this string into a new object, right? We need to create a new object. So for that we will write another thing, JSON dot uh, function name is I'm forgetting the name, but JSON dot is it parse? Let me see. So let's try. I have little doubt about this function name, but anyway, let's try. If it will not work, then we will search in Google what is the right function, but it's okay. Let's try first time. So yeah, this is working perfect. So this is the function. So in this case, we can see now that our array 1 has the value 2 only, which was the default value, and the array 2, which I updated um, from 2 to 200. So here it is 200, right? So so the interesting thing is here that our single dimensional array and nested array behaves different with spread operator, right? This three dot is spread operator. So I hope this is making sense to all of you.
Yes, yes.
All right. Sure. Let's create another file, say nested underscore array 2.js. Spelling of array is wrong, but it's okay. Leave it. All right. So say we have a function, some anonymous function, anything, let's say my function 1 equals to function, and let's write a return statement here, return, or maybe console.log, console.log, and write as something, this is my function 1, right? This is the message. Okay, so as we know that in JavaScript, in our array, we can store uh, data of any data type, right? So say if we have a data, let's say, uh, let's create another function, let's call it main, right? And here we have a array, arr, and in this array, let's put some data of different data type. Let's say first is a number, second is a string, third one is a boolean, fourth one is undefined, right? Fifth one is a null, right? Sixth one is another array, right? Can we put a function inside array? Can we write this thing, right? Let's see. Or maybe let me copy this entire array and let me create another array. Here are two, and here instead of using function expression, if I will write a function directly, the entire function, say console.log, I am inside arr2, right? So this is my array2. Let's see what I will do. Here I will simply print console.log. We know that if I will write arr of 0, 1, 2, all this will print. Here the interesting thing is this, right? So what is the index of this? So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? This is the index of my function one is 6. So let's write here 6 and let's see what we will get. And in the same way, we will write console.log, and we have the another array arr2, and I believe the index of this function should be 6. 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So let's write here 6 and call our main function from outside main, right? Uh, let's execute this code. Node nested array .js. So uh, array2, sorry, this is the wrong array2. nested nested underscore arry2.js. Yeah. So in both of the case, in both the console, we are getting that, okay, this is a function, right? arr6, here this is a function and the name of my function is my function1. Again, in the next case, it is saying there is a function, it don't have any name, it is completely anonymous function. All right. So if I will write a parenthesis here like this, so it means we can call this function. Let's see, it should work, right? So this is my function one, I am inside array 2, and why I'm getting this undefined. Okay, got it. So what I can do here, I'm already writing here console.log, it is also console.log. So what I can do, remove this console.log and write here return. So return, and same thing is here. Simply remove this console.log, return. Let's try again. Right. So from this program, what I am understanding, what we are understanding that in our JavaScript, inside our array, we can completely write an function, right? Anonymous function. We can put a function expression, right? So in our array one, first array, this is function expression. In our second array, this is a anonymous function. Can we write a named function here? Let's try this thing also, right? So say function test function, and right here return, say here this is test function, and right here console dot log, and this is my array 2 of 7th, index is 7, and put a this thing. Let's see. So yeah, this is also working. This is test function, right? So we can write any type of function inside our array. Doesn't matter. We can also write arrow function, right? Hope this is making sense. Do anyone have any question here? I put my all the codes in GitHub, means whatever the code I wrote in the last session, that is available in the GitHub. If any of you want to download it, you can, right? I already shared the link of my GitHub in the WhatsApp group, right? Okay, can I proceed, or is there any question?
Oh, okay, okay.
All right, fine. Now, what I want from you people is I'm looking for a code, right? Some meaningful thing. The thing is that you guys need to create, means all of you need to create right now. It's a matter of 15 minutes maximum. So all of you need to write a code where you need to create a slider, right? So let me show you. Mm, I have something to show. Allow me a minute. Okay, so what I'm asking that when you will execute your code, it should look like this, right? There will be a slider, there should be two button could be anywhere, could be in the center or bottom, doesn't matter, it's okay. But the thing is when you will click on this button, this is previous button, this is next button. Here it is showing the name of my image. This is image1.jpg, which is showing by default. So when I'm clicking over it, the next image is coming here, right? So it is again next, then image 3, image 4, image 5, and this is the last image in my slider. There are 5 images only. Now if I will click on this next, so what will happen? Image 1 will start to display, right? So 1 2 3 4 5, then 1. And if I will click in previous, currently I'm in image 1, which is the first image, and if I will click on this previous, then from 1 it will go to 5, right? 5 4 3 2 1, again 5, right? So uh, I believe 10 to 15 minutes is enough to create, to make such thing, right? So I'm expecting all of you to do this thing right now. Let's see, let's check your knowledge, right? So let's do it. Like this is 9 o'clock, right? So I can keep myself in mute for next 14-15 minutes, and within this time let's try to make it, right? After that, we will discuss about it, right? Is it okay for all? Yes,
Okay,
no,
okay.
maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So please do it, right? I'm here only, but I'm on mute. All right. So what is the progress? Is it done? Anyone?
Yeah,
Uh,
partially done.
All right.
partially done.
So what is the logic? What you are doing?
So what I've done, I've created one array.
Okay.
Inside that array, I've pasted the image URLs, means the
Perfect.
path of images,
Perfect. Perfect.
and then I have taken two buttons for next button and previous button.
Okay.
And for that button, I'm calling one function. I'm
Mm-hmm.
setting value of I first to 0. Then when I click the button, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm increasing the I value, and
Mm-hmm.
it's also traversing the array's images sources also. And according to that, I'm appending that image to inner HTML.
Perfect. Yeah, this is the right solution. So as Beva mentioned, uh, we can have an array in that we can store the path or locations of the images, right? And by default, we can show the first image in our div, which is our slider. And we have two buttons, next and previous. When we are clicking on next button, then we are increasing the index by one, right? And when we are clicking on previous, then we are decreasing the index by one. And we need to take care of a condition that when the index will reach to the maximum length of our array, then we will again convert our index to 0, and the vice versa in case of previous. So yeah, that's it. So if I will try to see, yeah. So you guys can see here that okay, this is the HTML, means we have a div, right? So I'm considering that okay, this div is our slider, right? There is some classes are there, that is okay. And the important thing is that we have two buttons, previous and next, right? And I'm calling a function. When I'm clicking on this previous button, I'm calling this function previous image. When I'm clicking on this next button, I'm calling this next image function, right? So all these functions are written in slider.js. And the another thing is that I have one more function, slider, which is getting called in the onload event of body, right? When my body is getting load, then this function is getting called. So let's see what are the codes inside these three functions. We have three functions, slider, which is the main function, previous image, and next image. So let's open the slider.js. In the slider.js, okay, we can see that okay, we have a image array in which I mentioned all the paths of images. I have 5 images, image 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And I also used a variable pointer equals to 0. This pointer is nothing but an index. Then this is our main function, slider. So what is happening here? Here the condition is like if the pointer is less than image array dot length. So I am simply, you know, using the image container, which is my div. Inside this div, I'm generating some HTML, and what my HTML is, I'm generating an image. I'm showing the image, right? And the source of image is image array of pointer, right? This is my image array, and pointer is 0. So by default, I am showing this image 1, right? So after that, when user is clicking on this next button, so this function is getting called. Here I am checking this condition. If pointer is 0, if 0 is less than image array dot length minus 1, right? So increase the pointer by 1, right? And I'm calling my main function with the pointer value. Now because I'm calling this function, so what is happening? This code is again executing, and this time the next image, I mean image 2, this will get called, right? And the same reverse thing is happening in previous image. Here I am decreasing it by 1, right? So all right, if you guys are able to do it, then it's fine. Perfect. Let's move. All right. Okay. Now the next thing is object, right? So let me create a new file and say it object one.js. Okay. So what is object? I think all of us are familiar with any of the object-oriented programming language like C++. So in such programming language, we heard about the, you know, concept of class and objects. So everything which is around us is object, right? If say if there is a car, so car is an object, and every object has some property. So maybe the color of the car, that is a property, right? So color is a property and value may be red, green, blue, whatever the color has, right? Another property could be the engine, right? So what is the capacity of engine? Maybe it is 800 cc car or 1200 cc car, right? So the value is 800 cc or 1200 cc. So maybe the another property could be the make, means on which year this car is manufactured. So maybe let's say 2024, right? So make is a key, make is a property name, and the year 2024, that is a value. So in JavaScript, we can create object, right? So to create any object, what we can do is, let's say we have a variable, let's say car, right? We are talking about car, so let's say the variable name is car. And by putting this curly braces, we are creating an object, right? This is a blank object. Now inside it, we can put properties. So the right term for the properties here is keys, right? So we were saying that, okay, car has a property called color. So we can write like this, color, put a color, and the value is, let's say, white, right? So color is a property, right? Color is a property. We can call it key, and white is the value. Then we will put a comma, and we can use another, property, let's say engine. So engine is, as we discussed, so maybe 1200 cc is the engine, right? So I'm not wrapping it in single or double quote because I want to keep it numeric. Then the next thing is what we were discussing. We have color, we have engine, make, right? Make, uh, car, make is manufacturer name, uh, make and model. Okay, so make, when we say in terms of motors, vehicles, when we say make is, if I'm not wrong, make is the manufacturer name, right? So here in case of make, the right value should be some manufacturer name, let's say Maruti or maybe Hyundai, right? Another property could be model. So model is, let's say there is some model of Maruti, Baleno or Swift, right? Right. So we can create more keys like this, right? So, okay, for now, this 4 is sufficient. This is our sample object. Let's put this in this object inside a function. Let's create a function. Let's say my object, and let's copy this thing. All right, so now the thing is that in case of array, we have indexes. Here we don't have indexes, but we have keys, right? So if we want to access any of these values like white or 1200 or Maruti or Swift, then we have to use these keys. So what we can write, say, console.log and write your object name, which is car, dot key name, say color, right? So it will return us white. Then if I will write console.log and here if I will write engine, so it will return us whatever the value it has. It has 1200, right? So let's run this code. Let's see. So my object, object1.js, right? Yeah, we are getting the values. All right. Now we need to understand that, okay, currently we are fetching these things, these values one by one, but we also need to understand that how to iterate an object, because in our case, in this current case, we have only 4 keys and values, right? But many of time we will find that in an object there are 20, 25 of keys or even more than keys, because what happens in our real project scenario, whenever we call an API, right, any external API, then the data which is sent by API, it comes in this format only, keys values format. We also call it JSON, JavaScript object notation, right? So this thing is similar to the dictionaries of Python, right? So let me write this thing JSON. This is an important term, JavaScript object notation. So whenever we call an MPI, means say if we are getting some data, receiving some data from API, or maybe we are sending some data to the API, right? In both the case, the format of data will be JSON, this key values, right? So long back there was one more format which was XML, but in these days no one is using XML because there are some disadvantage of XML. XML is heavy in size. So from last maybe 10, 12 years, we are using JSON only, right? And JSON is nothing. JSON is this key values thing. So here we can also call it object. JSON is object, right? This is a JSON. This is an example of JSON. So let's use a loop, right? Say we will use for loop here and say let keys or key, and we will use for in, right? In case of array, we can use for of. Let me see if I showed anything of for of. Yeah, in the last session, I demonstrate this loop for of, right? In case of array, we use for of, but in case of object, we will use for in. And what is the name of my object? Car. So we will write for key in car. So what it will do, one by one, uh, you know, one pair of key value will come to this key. Sorry, one by one, only the key will come to this variable, and we can, you know, fetch data from this key variable. So here what we can write here, let's say console.log, and inside this we can write car, which is our object name, and dynamically we are fetching out value from it. So we can write here key like this. So let's see. Yeah, the last four thing, it is coming from our loop, right? Console.log, let me draw a line here so that it will be easy for everyone to understand the output. And okay, after loop, let's print it again. Now we have something inbuilt thing. So with the help of that as well, we can, you know, directly fetch out all the keys and values. We don't need to write a loop for that. So what we can do, we can write object, right, dot keys, and inside it we have to pass our object name, which is car, right? So this will, if I will wrap this entire thing in console.log, console.log, then what we will find that whatever the keys this object car has, right, it is printing in an array form. So it returns all the keys in an array. And we can also write console.log object dot keys, and here we can, sorry, not keys, object dot values, and here we can write car, right? Let's see now. Clear the screen, and yeah, we can see this last two line. So the first array is representing our keys, the second array is representing our values, right? So this is the another option, the shortcut option. So we can see our keys and values, or fetch our keys and values like this also, right? So are you guys getting what is object, right? So ideally,
Sir,
yeah.
why you didn't got error in 3, 4, 5, 6 line? Because you have not put in double quotes color engine make model.
It's okay. I mean, so it is not mandatory. It is optional here, right? So I can understand you read somewhere that our key should be wrapped in the double quotation. That is okay. You can do it, but it is optional. Even if you will not do, at least in JavaScript, you will not get any error, right? Okay. So
And in line number 9, if we do car, then in square bracket color, then also it will give us answer.
we can see the data type of this thing, this object, and array both has, means the internal data type is object, right? If we will check the data type of car, it will also return the same thing which we get from array. So the thing is, in case of array, we write like this, right? So here inside the object, inside the loop, we are using this key like this only, right? So it should give us, let's try. uh, okay, here the color is, so here we are using dot only. In this case we use dot, but when it is dynamic inside the loop, then we can write this dynamic variable, right? So let's try one more thing. Control Z, right? Let me try like this. Let's see. So now it is working, right? So line number 9, we are getting this 1200, right?
Mm.
But the standard syntax is this dot. Right. Okay, so this is one thing. Let's create a new file. Object2.js. All right, so let me copy this thing, or maybe we can create some object. So here I copied this object, right? Okay, so what I want to do here is let's write console.log and say type of my object, right? So with the help of type of, we can see the data type, right? And let's call it here. So to check data type, we can use the type of function, or we can also write like this, type of, both works, right? This is the operator. So we have the file name object2.js, right? So we will write here node object2.js. So type of, oh, sorry, it should be car, right? It should be car. Our object is car. So yeah, it is saying us object, right? So if you guys recall that in our last session we checked the type of array, then it was also returning us object. So internally for JavaScript, whether you are writing array or object, both are objects. So we create object like this, that is okay. This is perfectly fine. But this syntax is called generic way. Generic, right? This is the generic way to create any object. There is one more way. Let's say I am writing another object. Let's say obj. This is my object, and I can create it like this, new object. So this is a something familiar. I think you guys are familiar with this line if you ever worked with any of object-oriented programming, because in any object-oriented programming, whether it's a C++ or Java or C Sharp, even in Python, when we need to create object, then we use this new operator, right? So here we have a object obj, and we are creating object of which class? This class. This is an inbuilt class in JavaScript. So whenever we create any object in generic way, then even this is the object of our this class, right? And this way is called constructor way. So we know constructor. So all of us know that when we create object, then we calls a constructor, right? Which is a special function or method inside a class, right? So we will not discuss more currently about object-oriented programming, but it's okay. I believe most of you are familiar with at least up to this thing, right? So there are two ways, generic way and constructor way. Even in array, in case of array, let's say when we create an array, ideally what we write AR equals to this. So this is a generic way, right? This is a generic way of creating an array. If we will write new array, so this will also create array. So internally, JavaScript has a class with the name array. And when we are, creating an array, so what is happening? It is returning an object. It is returning an object to this AR variable. That's why in case of array, when we check data type, it returns us object, right? So in JavaScript, everything is object, right? Even there is a class called string, right? So if you will create a string like this, so it will return us, object. Okay, so let's focus in object. Currently, we are discussing about object. So we have this object now, right? So, okay, let me comment this. We have this alternative syntax. Let's come to here, right? So, let me remove all these keys and let me remove this line also. And here, let's say this is my obj variable, object variable. Here, what my objective is, we need to see that, okay, as of now, we are understanding that we can store um, multiple keys and value inside an object, and those keys are properties and values could be numbers, values could be string. What other values we can store, right? Okay, guys, give me a minute, allow me a minute. I'm coming back in a minute. Photo. All right, so I'm back. All right, so what I was saying, so this is my object, right? Or maybe instead of obj, let's make something meaningful. Let's say student or employee, right? EMP. So let's say name of employee, something Rohit Sharma. Then let's say age. So Rohit Sharma is a string, right? Age, let's say 32, which is a number. Okay. Next thing is, let's say, uh, some Boolean. So let's say is Indian. So what is the nationality? Is Indian. So let's say true, right? So we can store true Boolean value also, right? So, so all these three things are primitive data types. Let's try to store some non-primitive data types. So what are the examples of non-primitive types? Array, function, and object. So let's say hobby or maybe skills, right? So in skills, I am using an array, and in my array, I am writing, let's say, uh, cloud computing, right? This is first skill, second skill is maybe full stack, Python, third skill is maybe machine learning, and so on, right? So here we are storing a array. Now, next thing is, mm, let's create a key, say experience, right? So let's try to create a function here. Function, right? And return, let's return a string, say 10 years, right? Okay, so we have array, we have a function. Let's create one more key to store another object, right? Uh, say say mm, 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 maybe certification, right? Certification, and let's create object here, right? So we know in an object there are keys and values. So let's write certification one is AWS certified, AWS professional, right? Certification two is, say, Oracle DBA certification, right? So like this, let's create one more. Certification three is uh, maybe uh, IBM cybersecurity, right? So these are few certifications of this particular employee. So now from this example, you can see, right, that in an object we can store data of any data type. It could be primitive data type, it could be, non-primitive data type. And if I will try to print this thing, let's say EMP, right? So what we will get, object2.js. So yeah, we are getting this entire object, right? And from the program one, we already know how to iterate this object, right? We can use for in loop, we can use object.keys or object.values to get everything. All right, and we also know that in an array, this is an array, skills key has an array, right? In which currently there are three strings, cloud computing, full stack Python, and ML. But we know that, okay, in array, we can also create function, right? We can also create function. We can also put another object here, right? Let's write here. A is 1, B is 2, right? So the thing is, what I'm trying to explain here is that in an array, we can store anything, any primitive data type or non-primitive data type. And even in object, we can store anything, right? Primitive or non-primitive data types. So fine. So perfect. All right. Anyone has any question here? The concept of object is very important because I believe this is the one of the most important fundamental topic of JavaScript because in our projects we have to deal with this thing a lot, right? Because whenever we need to, send data or get data from server, then object comes in the picture, right? This key values things. Okay, let's write a code. Maybe with that it will be more meaningful. So let me create a file object3.js, right? And I will create one more file object3.html. We have two files, object3.html and JS, right? Minimize it. Okay. So what I'm thinking of that in my JS file, I will create an object which will be an array of object. right? Array of object means there will be array at the root, and inside that array there will be multiple objects, something like this. Let's say let uh, maybe say employee data equals to one array. Inside this array there will be multiple objects. This is object number one. Let's say this is object number two, and this is object number three, right? Now in every object there will be some information about the employee, like its name, his department name, his salary, his qualification, and so on, right? So what we will do, instead of writing this data, we can ask this to ChatGPT. Let's go to ChatGPT, open ChatGPT, right? So here we can say that provide me an array of object that is JSON of 10 records, 10 dummy records of employees. Right. Let's see. Should create something. Yeah, it's creating. This is what we are looking for. This is an array, and inside the array we have objects, right? Wonderful. So let's copy this thing and paste it here, right? So it returned us ID, name, age, email, salary, department, designation, and joining date. Perfect. Let's minimize it, and let me create a function and put this thing inside a function. So let's say function name is main. This is my function name. Uh, let's remove this thing here. Right. All right. Now come to my HTML. In the HTML, let's create the boilerplate, say HTML5. This, remove this unnecessary lines, and this thing. Here in the script, what we can do, we can say object 3.js, right? Okay, now what we want to do with this object, we want to bind this data, means we have this data, right? We have the records of 10 employees, right? Amit Sarma, Priya Verma, right? Rohit Mehta, whatever. So in our HTML, we have two options. Either we can create cards of employee, right? Cards means like Flipkart or in Amazon, uh, we see the products in this rectangle boxes. These are cards, right? So we can create cards of employees, or another option is we can display this information in a table, right? In rows and column format like Excel. We have both the options. So, okay, let's do one thing. So in the title, let's write employee information. right? Here we need to write some CSS, right? So either we can create external CSS file, or maybe we can write internal CSS. Let's create an external CSS file. So we will say object3.css. We are going to create cards, right? So in a rectangle box, we will show the information of employee, right? So we will have 10 cards because in our JSON, we have 10 records. So object3.css. So let's create from here. What is this? Object3.css, right? Okay. So come here. Let's create a div, which is a parent div, root div, whatever we can say it, and say it ID is, say, container. It is the container of everything, right? Okay. Inside it, directly we can create cards, right? So we will write div, close this div, and say class equals to card. Come to the CSS file. Here the first thing is container. So what we will do, we will create as container. We will write something here, and second thing is card, right? So here we'll write margin is say 0 pixel auto, right? And say our width is say 100%, right? Height is auto, whatever the. Okay, come to the card. Here let's define some width. Say our width is 200 pixel. Height is it is little 100 px, and let's make it 160 kind of, and let's say there is a border of 1 px solid black, right? There is some internal paddings of 10 pixel from all direction. There are some external, gaps or margin from all direction. Let's say margin is 10 pixel, right? And yeah, we have this card. Let's see how it is looking. Mm, let's run this object3.html. So we drive, and we have almost 2 JS object3.html. This is the file. Yeah, we are getting something like this. Okay, so I should increase a little bit. So in the CSS, we will go and let's make it 200 and call it 240. Yeah, it is better now. Okay, so we have this thing with us now. Okay, now what we will do here, we will iterate our object, right? So to iterate our object, we will use a loop, for in loop. So we will write for let emp of yeah, emp of, so this is array, right? This is array of objects. So internally they are object, but the root there is an array. So we will use of, right? And here we will write emp data, which is my array name. Okay, now inside my loop, what I will do, I will write document dot get element by ID, and what is the ID here? Let's see. Let's create ID container. So we have this ID container. So right here container, and let's bring this thing outside of the loop. Here let's write let container element equals to this thing, right? And in the loop, what we will do, we will write container element dot inner HTML equals to here we need to produce this card. So whatever the HTML we wrote, just remove this thing from here, cut it, and paste it here. So remove this blank spaces, and we can do one thing, that we started our this thing from double quote. So internally we can use single quotation. That's it. So okay, so what should happen if we will run this code? Let's say we are calling this function, main function, with page load in the body. If I will write on load equals to main, so what will happen? We should get 10 square boxes in our browser. Let's see, run this. So we are not getting anything. Why so? Let's see. Okay, this is my for loop. For is ending. Okay, let's put a plus here. So what is happening? The loop is working, but it is overwriting. So the last time we are seeing it. So yeah, right. So we are getting 10 boxes. We need to do something so that it should come, you know, uh, in same line, right? So for that, what we can do in our CSS, we can write float is left. Float is left. Now let's see. Yeah, this is what we are looking for. Okay. So come to the JS file. Now what we can do, let's open this object. Yeah. So we have like name, right? So we need to, you know, print this thing inside this div. So what we can do, let's write like this, concat it. So the object name in our code is, sorry, inside our loop is emp, this thing, emp. So we will write here emp dot, and we will use name, right? This is the key. We want to show the name. Let's see now how it is looking, or we can, let's say, put this thing inside h1 or maybe h2. Let's put it in h3. Let's see. Yeah, we are able to see the name of all the employees, right? Amit Sharma, Priya Verma, Rohit Mehta, Sneha Kapoor. Right. Now, uh, we can write a class here, dot card h3. So text alignment is say center, and say the color is green. Let's make the thing beautiful, right? Better than before, right? Okay, now what can I do? Come to the JS again. Now here we need to write the next thing. So next thing is we can print the email ID. So we can use a h4 thing, right? h4, and say this thing, concat it, and write here emp employee dot email, right? Let's write, let's see. Yeah, we are able to see it, and we can also make it center alignment. So what we can do, come to CSS here, uh, text alignment this, and okay, let's see. Oh, this is S3. So to this is H4, right? Ah, right. Okay, so the next thing which we can show here is we displayed the name, we displayed the email. Maybe we can show department, right? So department and designation. So let's do one thing. Come to the JS here and say um, in a div, right? In a div, we will say designation. So emp dot designation, right? And instead of div, unnecessary div, let's write it mark. So this will highlight the designation mark, right? And here in a right here strong, close the strong here, right? And we can also do one thing. Let's again put this thing plus and write emp dot uh, department, right? So department. Let's see how it is looking now. HR manager. And what we can do here, let's write a div so that the line will change. And div, right? And we can write here department. So it's up to us how beautiful we can make it, right? If we have in our JSON, if we have the image of that employee, then we can also show the image, right? Somewhere in the top left or top right, anywhere. So it's totally up to us, right? So this thing is called data binding. So practically what happens then when we call any API, we get data, right? We get data, similar data in JSON format. We can say this is a JSON data. and we have to bind that data into our UI as we are doing currently. So we need to write some loop, we need to write some condition, right? We need to store that data in some variable as we did. So currently our data is static. We are not, using any API. We are assuming that, okay, this is the piece of data which we are getting maybe from some API, but currently it is completely static. Later on, we will see, we will call some API, right? Open API and do the same thing. But for now, this is okay. So I believe this is making sense to you people. You guys are getting how to bind data, right? Is it okay? Okay, I'm putting this code over GitHub. You guys may go through it, right? In case there is any question, you may ask to me. So git status. Yeah. So now all the codes now available in the GitHub repo, right? You guys can go, download the files from there. So I want that all of you should go through this code and try to make something like that from yourself. You can do the same process, means go to some LLM like ChatGPT and ask, some records, dummy records of anything. Let's say, means I asked some dummy records of employee. You may ask some dummy record for products, any products, right? E-commerce products. So it will give you, then use this, JSON string into your code and iterate it and bind that data into your UI and try to generate some output like this, right? So that will be a good exercise, because as a full stack developer, when you will work in front end side, so many of times you have to do this effort, you have to do this exercise, right? In fact, as per my experience, the front end developers put their 60 to 70% effort in data binding only. Means most of the time, 60 to 70% means most of the time they have to do data binding job, right? In our case, currently the code which we wrote, means our data is very clean and it is not complicated, so very easily we did it. But many of times when they got data from APIs, those are very complicated structure, so they need to write some logics to, uh, to fetch the data. Uh, so means, yeah, when you will work in the project, you will find you will get such situation, right? But yeah, the basic logic is the same. All right, so let's proceed now. So we have 10-15 more minutes, because today we will, finish this class in 2 hours only. So okay, instead of starting anything, because we have only 12 minutes, so I will like to discuss with you people today, right? So it is like now 4 days. So how is your experience? What you are learning? Are you guys getting time to practice? Any challenge? So let's discuss for 10 minutes. So this is your time, guys. Let me know what are the challenges you are facing. If any way I can help you, I will try my best to help you. Yeah. Please unmute yourself. Let's talk.
I
So,
have learned so many new things from these 4, 5 sessions.
okay. So I'm glad, Sumit, that you are learning. These are the new learnings for you.
Like what is the arrow function in JavaScript, primitive and non-primitive data,
Mhm.
types of CSS.
Nice, very nice. So, during the interview, uh, means as per my experience, whatever I heard uh, from my first batch in Fractal, they asked very standard questions, right? And they get into the architecture. So here I'm trying to explain the architectures. But the thing is that is, you guys also need to practice a lot because they will give you use cases, right? I'm telling you what they will do. Uh, they may write a code from themselves, right? And maybe let's say they created an array of two-dimensional array, right? And they will say that, okay, I have an array. This is two-dimensional array. I am storing this array into another variable, and they will use the equal to operator, right? And they will do some operation, and they will show you the result that okay, after some we are getting the expected result. But after that, they will do some changes in some array in one of the array, and again they will show the result. Now the result will be something different. Now you should be very much aware that okay, he is using equal to, right? This is not a deep copy, this is a shallow copy. So means this is a very simple example I'm telling you, but the thing is the person who will not practice, means practically if you will not visualize the thing, then it will be hard for you. You will struggle in the interview. So the practice is very important thing. Practical, writing codes and all these things are very important to crack their interview. Many of times they will come with some use case, right? So they will give you a use case. They will not ask the question directly what, right? Rather they will give some use case and they will ask that, okay, in this use case, uh, what is your solution? Now, if you are practically know this thing, then only you will be able to answer that thing, right? Theoretically, what happens? We can answer if we go through some concept, and if someone is asking me what is this, then we can answer it. But if some situation based question will come to you, you can only those answer you can answer those questions only if you have practical exposure. Getting my point? What's about others? So here I am seeing Pallavi, Jagdeep, a lot of people are here, Rahul, Pavan. So how is going on? So
Everything going good, Gautam.
all
I
right.
just want to ask, I mean, what will be the flow means after HTML, CSS, JS? What we will learn?
After
And
that, we will start React, right? After React, we will go to the database side. We will see first relational database, MySQL. Then we will go to the document-based database, Mongo. And after Mongo, we will go to Python. First, we will see the fundamentals of Python as a programming language. Then we will move to the Django framework.
Gautam, as per your previous experience, so the interviewee, means the interviewer person ask
Mhm.
us to create something in front of them.
It depends. See, means in their panel, there are different people. It is not like a single person, is means there is different people who talks with different candidates. Now it's up to your luck. You are talking with who is your interviewer. So most of the cases I found that yes, they took at least 30 minutes, 35 minutes of discussion, right? And sometimes they ask you that, okay, because this is a video conferencing interview, so they may ask you that, okay, share your screen and write some code, right? It may be. But yeah, there is one good thing. In most of the cases, what I found that uh, in the initial, discussion, they asked to the candidates that what is your plus point, means what is your strength in full stack, means if you will say that I am more confident in the back end. So they ask most of the question, 90% of the question in from back end only. If you will say that I am more confident in front end, so they will ask most of the question from front end only. This is the thing which I means this is the pattern which I saw in the last batch. It is not like means they are very mature person, so it is not like if you will say that means I know front end, but it is new for me, and they will forcefully ask you question from front end only. It's not like that. This is a good thing. And uh, during my delivery of first batch, once I got chance to talk with their project manager and team leader, I'm forgetting their name, but anyway, this time again, I believe you guys will also get a meeting, a chance of meeting to talk with them. Whatever the doubts you guys have, you may ask to them. So, according to them, means they said that ideally in Fractal, there are two technical rounds. In the first round, there are some logical things are there, right? They may ask you some logical question, some problem solving question, right? And after that, in the next round, there will be a domain oriented round in which they will ask you the questions from the full stack. So these are the two rounds, but in my last batch, they merged this two round in a single round, and they asked means whatever they asked, they did everything in the single round only.
Oh, they will not ask a DSA, right?
No, means I didn't found anyone, any of my students said that they asked anything from DSA, but yes, there is some logical question. Maybe the question could be like, let me share my screen. Uh, the questions will be definitely tricky. So what I'm trying to say they can ask you that, say there is a input, and input is a series of numbers, right? Say the numbers are like A, B, C, D, E, F, anything, so on. And you need to write some logic, right? You need to write some logic so that output will be something like the first number of the series uh, will be lesser than the second number, and second number should be greater than third number, right? Then again, the third number should be lesser than the fourth number, and the series will continue like this. So, so they may ask such questions, right? This is not a question from DSA. This is a logical question. You need to think,
Yeah.
right? So they may ask you what are the steps. Um, Tell me some algorithm, or simply say me the steps how you can get this output. So
Got it.
anyone will like to tell me what will be the how you will get this output?
So we can, I guess, use if conditions with and operators and all.
So how many times you will use the if? You don't know what is the length of this series. Here I wrote A, B, C, D, E, F. This is five, six numbers, right? But it may be 500 or 600 or any number, right? How many ifs you will write like this?
We have to use loops and all.
Okay, anyone else?
So first we will sort this list.
Hmm.
Then for this A, C, E, and G, we will use the first half which has smaller elements, and for this B, D and F and H, we will use the right side which has the greater elements, because the relation between A, C and E is not given, and B, D and F is also not given.
Hmm.
So we could follow this approach.
Yeah, means your step one is completely okay. First step is that we need to sort our series, right? We can keep this entire thing into array and then we can sort it. So after sorting, what will happen? Let's say we have numbers like this. Say after sort, we are getting something like this: 1, 2, 3. Let's make it simple: 4, 5, and so on, right? So what we will do? Uh, this is the step one, right? This is step one. So, okay, we sorted everything. Then in the step two, uh, we need to shift this this number to this place, right? And this number to this place. So the output should be something like this: 1, then 3, and then 2, right? This is what this condition is, right? So in the step one, we are sorting everything. In the step two, we are shifting the number which is in index, 1 to index 2 and the index 2 to index 1. And we will continue this process in our entire series. So we will get this output. Isn't it? Am I correct? Or am I not making sense? Think of it means,
Making sense.
yeah, means you can get this output with this logic. That's whatever I'm saying in the step two. Just you need to shift the numbers, which is index number 2 to 1 and 1 to 2. And the same thing you need to do in your entire series. Definitely you need to write a loop for that, right? In the loop you need to write some condition, and with the help of those condition you can get it, right? So you need to answer like this. This is a sample question, means which I am saying it, they may ask such type of questions, right? Means I'm not sure, means in the logical question what they may ask. They are an infinite question, right? But yes, whatever they will ask, you have to apply a lot of brain. That is for sure. All right. So guys, what my suggestion is, prepare uh, prepare yourself, right? Currently we have good amount of time, right? Uh, I can understand many of you is not aware of front end. That is okay. I'm teaching, but my suggestion is only do practice whatever I am telling. Try to make similar program from yourself, right? And your backend is strong. Means you guys are working in backend from last 2 3 years. So in the backend, you know, I can understand you can manage the backend from yourself, but the front end is something which is you guys need to focus. And yeah, that's it. Uh, for now, just focus on in learning. Right. Any other question? No? Chalo, all right, guys. Thank you very much. We will meet tomorrow. And take care. Bye bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank,
Thanks.
thank you, sir.